Coming to the next Education Commission for the period 1964 to 1966, which is commonly known as Kothari Commission, was an ad hoc commission set up by the Government of India to examine all aspects of the education sector in India and to evolve a general pattern of education and to advise guidelines and policies for the development of education in India. It was formed on 14th July 1964 under the chairmanship of Professor Daulat Singh Kothari. The commission was planned for higher education expansion as per manpower needs of next 20 years and enrollment in undergraduate level to double from 1.5 lakhs to 3.5 lakhs and at post graduation and research levels from 45,000 to 7.5 lakhs. The commission worked for the higher education and recommended that specialization immediately after school at undergraduate level is undesirable. So, it should allow flexibility in choice of courses like combining physics, chemistry with biology, and same approach should be followed at post graduation level. Social sciences should be given a significant place in subjects of study in Indian universities in higher education with adequate provision of scholarships and flexibility in choices of subjects. Introduction of more frequent periodic assessment to reduce undue emphasis on external examinations is emphasized, and each department should have a personal advisory committee to search outstanding young persons across India for teaching and research. Teachers must be provided with attractive salaries and research opportunities, and UGC should sponsor fellowships at lecturer, reader and professor levels to attract outstanding persons in the teaching profession. They visualized that intensive and continuous efforts are necessary to raise the economic, social and professional status of teachers. The most urgent need is to upgrade the remuneration of the teachers. So, they recommended that the scales of pay are to be integrally related to the programs of qualitative improvement of teachers through improved methods of selections and improvement in general and professional education. The scales are to be given to all the teachers, government, local authority or private on the basis of parity. To facilitate introduction of scales for teachers in higher education, assistance from center should be provided to meet additional expenditure on a sharing basis of 80% from the central and 20% from the state funds. In the case of private colleges, central assistance may even be provided on a 100% basis. The qualifications of teachers in affiliated colleges should be the same as those of teachers in the universities. The method of recruitment for them should also be similar. Good institutions should be allowed greater freedom in the choice of their teachers, and stricter control should be exercised where the management is not satisfactory. It is necessary to improve promotional prospects in the teaching profession in order to attract and retain men of talent. From this point of view, the suggestions were made. Ad hoc temporary posts in the higher grade should be created for a lecturer or reader who has done outstanding work and who cannot be given promotion for non-availability of a suitable post. It should be open to a university in consultation with UGC to offer remuneration even beyond the special scale of rupees 1600 to 1800 to outstanding persons to attract these kind of persons in higher education. All teachers' salary should be reviewed every 5 years, and the durance allowances paid to teachers should be the same as that paid to government servants with the same salary. The system of retirement benefits to teachers should also be reorganized on the principles of uniformity and parity. As an interim measure, the triple benefit scheme should be more widely adopted both for the teachers in local authority, for the university and for the college teachers. The normal retirement age for teachers in colleges and universities should be made 60 years with provision for extension up to 65 years. The conditions of work in educational institutions should be such as to enable teachers to function at their highest level of efficiency. The minimum facilities required for efficient work should be provided in all the educational institutions. Adequate facilities for professional development should be provided to all the teachers. In fixing the hours of work, not only actual classroom teaching, but all the works a teacher has to do should be taken into consideration. New conduct and discipline rules suitable for the teaching profession should be framed for teachers in government services. The provision of residential accommodation for teachers is extremely important as visualized by the Commission, and for this purpose it was suggested that every effort should be made to increase residential accommodation for teachers in rural areas. A program of building construction and grant of adequate house rent allowances should be adopted in all big cities. Cooperative housing schemes for teachers should be encouraged and loan terms should be made available. The target should be to provide residential accommodation to about 50% of the teachers in the university and 20% of them in affiliated colleges. At the university stage, part-time consultancy or additional work such as research by teachers in higher education should be permitted. They also recommended that teachers should be free to exercise all civic rights. The employment of women teachers should be encouraged at all stages in all the sector of education, and opportunities for part-time employment should be provided to the women teachers on a large scale. And adequate provisions should be made for residential accommodation, particularly in rural areas for women teachers, and increasing facilities should be provided for education through correspondence courses. Wherever necessary, special allowances should be given to women teachers working in the rural areas. A scheme should also be drawn up under which every teacher will get a concessional railway pass to any part of India once in 5 years on payment of a reasonable contribution related to his salary, his or her salary. Teachers for tribal area should be given special allowances, assistance for the education of their children and residential accommodation. Provisions should be made for giving special training to teachers who are to work in tribal areas. Professional organization of teachers which carry out work for the improvement of the profession and of education should be recognized by the central and state governments and consulted on matters relating to general and professional education of teachers, their salaries and the condition of work. They have emphasized on the education of teacher educators, their professional growth. The professional preparation of teachers being crucial for the quality improvement of education should be treated as a key area in educational development, and adequate financial provisions should be made for it both at the state and the national level. In order to make a professional preparation of teachers effective, teacher education should be brought into mainstream of the academic life of the universities on one hand and of school life and educational developments on the other hand. They emphasize to remove the existing isolation of teacher education from university life. They says that education as distinguished from pedagogy should be recognized as an independent academic discipline and introduced as an elective subject in courses for the first and second degree, and schools of education should be established in selected universities to develop programs in teacher education and studies and research in education in collaboration with other university disciplines. Extension work should be regarded as an essential function of a teacher training institution. An extensor service department should be established in each institution and it should be an integral part of the higher education. Effective alumni association should be established to bring all the students and faculty to discuss and plan programs and curricula for the betterment of higher education.